Alright everybody, this is a late raw review. I wasn't able to do it straight immediately after because I've had like a lot of homework um, in college, that I have to take care of, and haven't been able to get around and make any videos because I've been having to worry about getting those done on time so that I don't have to have any late assignments. So anyways, that's the reason why I didn't make one as soon as I could. But anyways, I'll go ahead and go straight for it. First of all, I'm going to talk about the whole incident with Jerry Lawler, and I don't want to like do that in the order that it happened, between the matches or the segments. I want to get that like straight off the bat. I was terrified and I was very worried about what would happen to Jerry Lawler. I know I've been outspoken about his recent commentary within the past couple of years, and how he sounds robotic and how he's just sort of biased and whatnot. But any wrestling fan should differentiate someone's character and someone's real life you know demeanor. And I've had huge respect for Jerry Lawler at his age and how he's still able to wrestle and commentate. That really does gain a lot of respect for me for him. I remember him in that tag match with how he was, I think he was in the ring with Punk, and he gave him like a backdrop and it looked very crisp, and I just thought to myself, wow, he can still go in the ring despite his age, and it shows just how dedicated he is to this business, and I can't respect him more for that. That's huge props to him, and I really hope he does get well soon. It was such a shock during the tag match. I noticed instantly when like there was no commentary from Jerry for like quite a while, and I noticed the Montreal crowd, who's so passionate about wrestling, they were just dead for the match, and I couldn't see why. And they looked over at the announcer's table, and we heard random chants of Jerry, and I was wondering what was going on. And ever since that point on till the end of the show, I had a sick feeling in my stomach. I was just fearing the worst. And now, for the past couple of days, Jerry's been showing great signs of improvement in his health, and that is great. That is phenomenal, and I would not want to wish anybody in this wrestling business, no matter if I hate him or love him, I don't wish them, a goodbye from this world at all. So, anyways, that's very good that he's stable now and he's recovering from that, and I hope that he makes a speedy recovery as soon as he can. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and review the entire show. It capped off with it started off with the CM Punk and Bret Hart promo, and I loved the feel from the crowd, the energy. It was just so amazing, like I expected, and they couldn't give Bret a chance to talk, and it didn't seem like he minded at all. He was just soaking up all the adulation, and that was really cool. And I don't remember much from the promo, but he's just like basically kind of giving him a hello from about 15 years back with what happened in Montreal, before that with the Survivor Series, Montreal Screwjob stuff. And then Punk comes out to, I don't know if I should be surprised, but he came out to a very good amount of boos, and that really does help Punk, though, morph into this heel character that he's really trying to take by storm, because Montreal, they've been a huge support for Bret, because he's a Canadian, and just with Punk coming in, they weren't going to play dumb. They knew that Punk was going to come in and antagonize Bret, so therefore they just like totally thrashed Punk with like everything that he was saying towards Bret. And I love Canada because they still think that they're in the Attitude Era. They think that they can say whatever chant they want, and in no way am I ridiculing them for that. That's awesome. Like, I remember during certain parts of the promo that Punk was dealing out to Bret, they were chanting "Shut the fuck up," and And then at the way end, it was they chanted asshole, which was a bit more clearer than the preceding chant. And I thought that was like, wow, that's really awesome. It brings back memories. I'm surprised that the U.S. crowd still haven't remembered, the latter chant, the asshole, chant. So I just was like, wow, that's really good heat for Punk, and I'm pretty sure that Punk is happy with that heat. Anyways, then the first match of the night was Kofi and R-Truth versus Antonio Cesaro and The Miz. I think pretty much just like any other match that I'm going to talk about, it was really short, so I'm not going to give full details or full detailed descriptions about them. It was rather short. I believe Cesaro won. I'm not sure. I don't know. If I botched that, I completely apologize. But anyways, after that, Sheamus and David Otunga had like a skit in a courtroom or some meeting room. I'm not sure, but it looks like they're trying to follow the coattails of the Brian Cane segments in order to make their segments more entertaining than the usual bad comedy skits they have on Raw, which is not a bad idea. I thought it was really, not really, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. I'm not a huge fan of Sheamus, I'll go ahead and admit that, but in this segment, he did pretty well comedy-wise. I see that WWE is really trying to make Sheamus in this funny, badass face, and whether that's working or not, I won't say it. That being said, we'll have to see more of that. I'm interested in what Sheamus can deal out, but for right now, I'm just not really that interested in Sheamus or Otunga for that matter. After that, we had a 6-diva tag team match with Natalya, Beth, and Alicia Fox versus Eve, Layla, and Caitlyn. And I thought Alicia Fox was a face. I guess the divas aren't that important, unfortunately, nowadays for everybody to care about if they're face or heel. So I guess they can just go in and out as they please with that. So it was a rather short match. I think Eve picked up the victory on, I think it was Alicia Fox, but I wish they had more Natalya involvement just for the Canadian crowd. They weren't as behind her as I thought they would be, so. But I don't blame them because Natalya hasn't really had any face time recently. And then after that, we had a matchup between CM Punk versus Randy Orton, which was really good. I like that. I wasn't going to be surprised with how good it was because, like I stated in one of my other videos, Randy Orton can work so well that depending on who he's paired up with, but I would say mostly anybody, Orton can do a good job. CM Punk, I don't even need to say anything about him. He's phenomenal with just about anybody. So that was a good match, which afterwards Ziggler came in and cost Punk the match by getting him disqualified. So that gave Orton the victory, I think. Or no, disqualified, I think. Because it was a disqualification victory. And then Jerry Lawler came in to save Orton from the double team attack from Ziggler and Orton. So that later transformed into a tag team match, which kind of ran on just a bit longer. It was pretty much a continuation of the Punk Orton match with just Ziggler and Lawler, obviously. And I think Orton got the victory. I think he RKO'd Ziggler. And then at the end of the match, Paul Heyman comes out, and then he gets ECW chants, so from the knowledgeable Montreal crowd. And then you just hear Punk and Heyman kind of saying something outside. They were kind of discussing what they were going to do after this match, and they were kind of degrading Montreal and their little discussion they were having, and they left. And then I believe after the match, Punk and Heyman are interviewed by Stryker, I think, in an attempt to try to get a lot from out of their reasoning of them being a tandem. Punk just says, "I'm a Paul Heyman guy," which I thought was well. At first, I was like, "Damn it, no! I want to hear more with what this alliance is planning to do." But with Punk just kind of like giving off an almost sarcastic and brief description, I thought that was like, well, that's good because that's going to keep us hooked and interested in this thing in the long run. So I can't wait to see what that's going to lead up to, and I hope this unfolds more so at Night of Champions. And then after that, we had Ryback versus Heath Slater. Ryback wins. After that, we had Kane and Daniel Bryan versus the Primetime Players. And of course, I'm not going to discuss any more of it, but that match was controversial for one obvious reason. Kane and Bryan get the victory after Kane chokeslams Bryan on Titus O'Neil, I believe, to get the victory. I'm not complaining because I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan. Have been ever since he's been in the WWE. And I'm also a fan of Kane as well. One thing I don't like about that is that they're really being inconsistent with the Primetime Players' push to the championship gold. I mean, here we go. We have Titus and Darren. They get a number one contendership like months ago. They were forgotten after AW got, the boot, And then they defeated, I forgot who they defeated on SmackDown, but they got the number one contendership thing. And now AJ declares that they don't have the number one contendership anymore. So I'm like, well, vintage WWE logic, It doesn't really matter who the hell's running the show, as long as they get to throw in little illogical twists, that's fine. But I just hope that Darren and Titus do eventually get the tag team titles soon, because they're perhaps the most entertaining tag team right now. And Kane and Bryan don't really count as a tag team right now because they just formed. But that's my 2 cents on that. Afterwards, Alberto Del Rio came out to face Tyson Kidd in a pretty short match. They're both awesome in the ring, so that's doesn't really need an explanation. And again, just like with Natalya, I really expected, the Canadian crowd to be more behind Kidd, despite that sharpshooter spot that he did. But obviously, they were going to go nuts for that. But I don't know. Just like Natalya, Tyson Kidd hasn't really had much camera time, despite his little, hopeless push that he got there against Tensai and whoever else around Money in the Bank time. After that, we had Sheamus versus David Otunga. Not gonna comment on that, except for the fact that it was boring and I didn't expect much out of it. So, anyhow. After that, we had Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio, and these guys have had awesome matches in the past, so I wasn't going to be surprised with what they were going to give us, which was, good solid match. Again, shorter than what I would have liked, but Cody got the victory, which I was a little surprised about because Rey has been getting the victory over everybody, and that's what his usual status in WWE is. He doesn't really lose much, but I'm glad to see Cody got the victory. And then Miz came out, in which before that he cost Rey the match, and then came in to challenge Rey, and then Cody from out of nowhere gives him the Crossroads, which I kind of marked out about because I'm not a real huge Miz fan. I respect his qualities or his skills in the ring and on the mic, but he's just a bland character to me. So, and I hope Cody does go somewhere besides this whole Intercontinental title hunt, because he really does need to move on to a bigger picture. I just don't know when. But because there's too many up-and-coming guys like Ziggler and potentially Bryan, which he does deserve, another title shot. And just, the build-up with Sheamus and Vince's constant infatuation with Del Rio, even though he has him lose every match. So there's just a huge crowd. Not everybody's going to get the top spot, but sooner or later Cody does need to get to what he deserves, and that's the ascension up to the upper mid card, or not the upper mid card, but the main event card, as high as he can go, which I have high hopes for. And then to close out the show, we had the CM Punk, John Cena, and Bret Hart segment, which I thought was very, very entertaining. I'm a John Cena hater, and I have my reasons for why I hate the character, not not the person, but the character, just like I was talking about earlier with differentiating characters and real life people. So for this promo, I liked the passion that John Cena had, because in some of his promos, I feel that he yells for no reason just because he's John Cena, and he just sounds like a preacher in church who's just had like 85 Red Bulls. But this time, I really could feel like that he was very passionate about this promo, and almost seemed like that it was legitimate, which is what I liked. During the promo, Montreal crowd starts chanting, "You can't wrestle this Cena," which was very audible. And then at the end, they start cheering for him for his sycophantic ways of like speaking in French, trying to suck up to the crowd, because that was really the only way he would have the crowd on his side. I could go on and on about the promo itself. I thought Brett did really good with explaining how him and Shawn had how like they had their differences, and how Cena and Punk is kind of like a modern day version of that, which I thought was, a good play on the subject. Several parts of the Cena promo I didn't agree with. I didn't agree with how Punk doesn't have an identity and that he has yet to find himself of who he is. I think that's a major stretch on the truth, because ever since Punk rolled into WWE, he's only been himself. He's never really modified his gimmick, kind of like Cena has, because he used to be like a thug rapper, kicking everybody's ass, has no friends, to like the superhero, stand up for every fiber of morality, John Cena. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is Punk does have an identity. He's the straight edge guy who's adamant in his beliefs, and he came up from being, an indie guy who had no hopes of getting to WWE to being one of the best professional wrestlers in the world right now. So while Cena and Punk had that really awesome promo, I couldn't really agree with what John Cena was saying. But I did like the bantering that they were doing. I did like what Punk had to say, about how he's going to try to remain on top, at Night of Champions and beat him. And I forgot some other key points of the promo, So if I had did this promo or did this review on that same night, I would have had way more points to throw out instead of me trying to be vague. So anyways, but all in all, it was a very bittersweet Raw for obvious reasons, and for what it's worth, the Montreal crowd was great for the most part, and I did like the build up for Night of Champions, even though there's like I don't like when WWE waits till the last minute to add all these matches, because it really devalues the importance of the matches, whether they're the undercard, mid-card, or main event card. But anyways, well, I think that's pretty much it for my thoughts and reminiscing what happened on Raw. So, sorry. But that's pretty much it, and I don't know when my next video will be or what it'll be about, but I guess just stay tuned. So, thank you for watching.